What's up, guys? Welcome back to another review, and this time I'm going to be tackling The Return of the Living Dead, written and directed by Dan O'Bannon. This is a zombie horror comedy, and it's a shit ton of fun to watch. This movie is hilarious. I've only seen it once, and I am already in love with it. I love this movie. This movie is awesome. It's got so much energy to it. It's got so much wit to it. It's got so much punchiness to it. Sorry, excuse me. You know, this movie, to me, this movie is an hour and a half long punk rock / heavy metal music video. This movie has probably one of the best, soundtracks you'll ever hear in an 80s movie. The punk rock soundtrack really gives this movie a certain vibe and a certain energy that really makes it stand out from all the other zombie movies ever made. The other zombie movies made prior to this were they were just, serious and scary. This one flips that all on its head. Now, in The Return of the Living Dead, it pretty much says that the original George Romero movies were actually based off true events. So pretty much, zombies exist in this world, but they were covered up by the government. And the only reason why the zombies in this movie come to life is because these two guys, they work in this medical facility, and they accidentally let loose this chemical into the air, and it resurrects all the zombies around them. And that's where the chaos ensues. Like I said, this movie is a whole lot of fun. It's a whole lot of witty. It's very witty. It's very punchy with the dialogue. The characters are fun to watch, especially the ragtag combination of friends, which is just ridiculous. You got one guy who looks like he just got out of a heavy metal concert. You got these two other people who are straight up 80s, yuppies, and they got this one guy who is wearing camo pants and a short-cut tank top, and you got this redhead who just can't wait to get her clothes off. So it is the most random combination of friends you'll ever see in a movie. I mean, they're pretty much, you can tell, you look at this movie and you're like, how are you all friends? It doesn't make any sense, but it doesn't need to make any sense, because this movie does not try to even 1 second make sense. It's just here to be a fun ride, and that's exactly what it is. From start to finish, the movie's a shit ton of fun. The look and design of the zombies are great. You got this the tar man zombie in the warehouse, which is cool. You got this skeleton zombie, and then you got this zombie that has no legs, and you got this midget zombie, and you got and you got this other zombie that actually that talks that can talk on the radio. One of the cool things about this movie is that he introduced the whole concept of the talking zombie, and them saying brains, brains, brains. This movie originated the whole concept of zombies eating brains, and this movie also made the zombies very intelligible, and they're able to form sentences and actually communicate. There's this one scene where one zombie goes on a radio and just says, "Dispatch, send more paramedics." It's fucking hysterical. It's hysterical. This movie does the horror really, really well, and it integrates its comedy really, really well, really, really good as well. And like I said, the whole soundtrack just heightens it up even more, and gives it a certain vibe and a certain energy that just makes this thing a whole lot of fun to watch. And you got these characters, though they're one-dimensional characters, but they got personalities, and they all have distinct looks. So they all stand out in their own little way. And of course, you got some horror veterans in this movie, like Clu Gulager from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Miguel Nunez Jr. from Friday the 13th: A New Beginning, and you got Tom Matthews from Friday the 13th: Jason Lives. So you do got some credibility going on there, because you got two actors from two separate Jason movies, and you got one actor from a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. So you got some horror credibility going for you there too, which is even good to itself. And their interactions are fantastic. I like the interactions between Clu Gulager's character and this mortuary worker friend of his. and they have this whole running joke of owing each other a favor, which is hysterical. And of course, the mortuary worker, he has a couple of, named Ernie, he has a couple of funny lines in the pepper throughout the movie as well, and he has a lot of cool moments as well too. And the whole scene of all these guys trapped inside inside the morgue is hysterical. Them trying to like barricade themselves inside the morgue, trying to fight off the zombies, and then you got this whole subplot with the character Freddy's girlfriend, trying to comfort him, because he's going to be turning into a zombie really, really soon, because he was in the warehouse when the gas spread all over the town, and he's slowly starting to turn and starting to die. Rigor mortis is setting in. His body temperature is at a room temperature, so he's pretty much going to be turning into a zombie really, really soon, which he inevitably does, and that's pretty fun to watch. And of course, you got the whole ending of this movie, which is just great, because pretty much the government nukes the entire town, which is hilarious, and it's a dark ending, but it's hysterical. But it's a hysterical ending. It's like the whole, like, when in doubt, nuke them all, pretty much, which is great. So yeah, without going into very heavy spoilers, The Return of the Living Dead is a romp. It's a fun movie to watch. It's got so much energy to it. The soundtrack is great. The characters are fun to watch. The zombie effects look fantastic. Dan Bannon's writing is very witty and very punchy. The direction is done really, really well. The production design of this movie is also fairly well too. A lot of practical effects, and they all look great. And like I said, the zombie costumes and the zombie designs are all distinct, and they all stand out. And I love the whole decayed look of all these zombies. Like, they look decayed. They look like they're falling apart. And they look. And like I said, they're very distinct looks, and they stand out to give you to give that creep factor. Oh man, but yeah, The Return of the Living Dead. I'm giving this thing a 9 out of 10. It's a fun watch. It's very rompous. It's hilarious. It could be scary when it needs to be scary. It's very funny when it needs to be very funny. And yeah, overall, as someone who's not a big zombie movie watcher, this is a zombie movie that I have zero problem going back to watching again eventually. So yeah, a 9 out of 10. If you have not seen The Return of the Living Dead, you owe it to yourself to check out a gem of the zombie genre. Anyway, my name is AJ Legend. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.